Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 6, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the precise same philosophies I guide virtually every movement by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of others to varying degrees of success, depending entirely on what their own personal efforts were. Now, let us modify something here, because, there we go. Now we got the picture. I will be rearranging that in a little while. Now, what do we got here? Before we get into things, we have Steve, you are in with the gold. How you doing, Steve? Glad you could join us. And then we have Woo Rider is in with the silver. Whoa, glad you could see it and that you could join us here. I do hope you make it down to Reno. I think you're planning on it. So we will have to arrange one of the days to actually get together and sit down for dinner. Dinner, lunch, breakfast. I got 12 meals that are available. And God knows I eat like quite often 3 or 4 extras. So what the heck? Oh, well, thank you very much, Woo. That is very generous. Woo Rider is going, I give my silver to everyone. Joe, you are in with the bronze. Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us today. I trust things are as hectic and interesting as usual. And then we have Nathan here from the Quantum Show. He's in with honorable mention. Nathan, welcome aboard. Listening from work. And I hope things are busy enough to keep you occupied. You know, the neat part about this is I am looking at things. Now, remember I said we have to start, well, we don't have to. You're entitled to keep looking at the world the way you have been. But let's take a look at prosperity and the way that actually all comes together. If you believe that you are going to continue to struggle, bad news, the odds are you are. Okay, now, I put my income down, I filed my income tax, and I went, no, I require it before I go on my holiday. Normally, it should have been in on the 8th or between the 8th and the 10th. And I'm sitting there going, no, you misunderstand. I desire it in my possession before I head out. Well, it showed up today, which means the holiday is now bought and paid for. It can be dealt with without a problem. Another one of those neat little stress points removed. Now, my son actually went with me down into the downtown core so that we could manage to get my tag for the car. And what do we got here? Oh, yeah. You know, the neat thing there, Woo, is I like the pictures you provide. I mean, myself, there is no way I can speak to their veracity, okay, or their authenticity. All I can tell you is what they represent. But for me, it's easy enough to look at. Now, let me ask you this. In your eyes, are you ready to become as prosperous as you can possibly be? Okay, because we're about to turn the lights on as in today. Okay, now here's what I encourage everybody to do. And just to make that work, we take that. I lost one. Actually, I've lost a lot of things. But now let me ask you this. Well, never mind the ask. Take a look at what it costs you to run your house. Okay, bare minimum, work this out for yourself. Okay, because what we're doing here is we're going to show you the same way we show other people, the same way we talk to the off-worlders and the angel races about it. This is how to make money grow. Now, I'm no millionaire. And in all fairness, I literally have shunned money in a lot of ways. Like many of you, I made the stupid decision to go, oh, if you've got money, if you're wealthy, well, this is going to turn you into some sort of an idiot. Sorry, I already got that title. I don't require money to do that. But are we really doing that? Okay. Christoph just informed me that he requires liquid, which is fine. I've got his right here. See, Christoph is a good friend of mine. Only he's actually starting to grow, so I'm going to have to I'm going to have to replant him. I actually introduced you guys to him a little while ago. And here he is here. You can see on the top of this plant, this branch here, this one, he's got a new leaf. Still haven't got it to bloom yet, but on the other hand, at least he's still alive. Where it comes to prosperity, it boils down to this. Do you see yourself as being prosperous, as being financially in a good position? Now, here's the thing. Take a look at your finances as they are right now. Look at what you owe. I'm just referring to this for a moment. Your rent, and absolutely get paper. Okay, I keep a clipboard so I can make notes. Right, but to make sure, you've got to cover your rent. You've got to cover your utilities. One credit card that gets listed in with your utilities, because in today's world, that's pretty much the way that works. You've got to make sure you have your insurance done, as in home, health, or medical, if you will, and your vehicle. Okay. In that fashion, you're going to be a whole lot safer. You don't pay insurance because you've got a problem. You pay insurance in case you have a problem. Now, do not forget those two fine little things that so many people seem to take for granted. That is, number one, you've got to have you've got to have your savings. You've got to have entertainment. Because I will tell you, if you don't have money set aside for entertainment, you're going to run into a problem. Okay. And it might be an idea, just to be on the safe side, have an extra little account, a little amount for emergencies. Now, I'm not going to go into the numbers right now. May not later. But I've already got my rent, utilities, my insurance is all up to date. My savings has got money going into it. And I've got money set aside for entertainment, and incidentals. Now, the reason you do this is money is not the be all and end all. It really isn't. The off-worlders don't even use a cash system. They use a labor system. For every hour of work you do, it pays for whatever, you set up your own price line. If somebody is selling vehicles, maybe they're saying, okay, it's taking me 15 hours to build this thing. You want to buy it, you're going to do 30 hours of work for me. Whether that means going around advertising for me, going around and picking up spare parts as I require them, going around and just shipping the stuff to wherever I ask. Doesn't matter. It's 1 hour is the dollar value, no matter what species you are in the galactic consortium. This is why they don't have to worry about moving money off planet. Now, for those of you that are worried about this whole idea of going digital, now, needless to say, I've got complications with the idea in as much as I tend to short the systems. But when you look at the logistics behind it, moving money off the planet is going to cost a fortune. Okay, so this is when we start looking at getting all of the energy in your house running properly. You'll have more get up and go. You'll have clearer thought. Your health will improve. And all of this carries on to everybody you come in contact with. What am I looking at there? Eyeballs. This is why prosperity boils down to what do you see as being prosperous? Okay, do you see the dollar value in your bank account as a measure of your net worth? Or do you see the way you look in the mirror? Okay, I mean, I try to avoid the mirror by keep getting forced to look at his ugly mug. Okay, but like I said, it boils down to this. You've got to be content with you before you're going to be content with anybody else. And that's where we start working with it. Now, let me just go up here and catch a couple of things. Okay. Kevin, how you doing? I didn't see you come in. Glad you could join us. Joe, I will be heading for, today is Monday, so I will be heading for Vegas on Wednesday morning. So I will be there from Wednesday night until the following, I think, Sunday. Let me just double check that. May. Yeah, I will be leaving on Wednesday, and I will be there until the following Tuesday morning I fly back. No, I head out in 2 days, and then I come back on the following Tuesday, but I won't get here until about midnight, which means I'll get here about midnight on Tuesday, which means I won't be doing a show until the following Friday. Like, I'm going to be gone for a week and a half off live stream, because there is no way coming in on Wednesday at midnight, first thing in the morning. I'm not going to be ready after a week to go on the air. Absolutely vibing. Glad you could pop in. So what did we miss? I think I missed something here. We have Steve came in, then Wu with the gold, Joe with the bronze, and Nathan came in with honorable mention. Okay, now I'm caught up. When we look at prosperity, you gotta look, well, it would be wise, in my opinion, to look at what you've got that you're content with. That should not be there. If you're content, that's where prosperity comes in. It's that kind of an outlook that will determine how well you do in life. Now, like I said, I've managed to get finances finally turning around, finally starting to get stuff move where they needed to be. LA. Yes, LA is going so. An emergency fund as well as a savings account? Absolutely. Because the savings is for down the road when you get to a point now in your case and in many people's cases, you may already have hit that point of retirement. Okay. But so many young sprogs are coming up and they've got no clue what they're walking into. And the way the governments are handling things, and yes, in this case, I do blame the governments and the banking moguls. The way they are handling things, they've got it absolutely, completely backwards, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but where is the logic between telling people if you're only making 20,000 a year, we're going to tax you 25% of your income. But if you're making $100,000 a year, we're only going to charge you $5. Now where is the logic where it comes to country survival? Joseph, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The neat part about it is when we start taking a look at things. Oh, there we go. Joe, belated happy birthday to Jaden. Now the fun really begins. The neat part about it, when we start looking at what you've got coming in, okay, and this is why, where did I put it? This is why I wrote this, okay, believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Let's say you're making $100,000. It's still only a $20 investment. Okay, you just can buy more of them. Okay, if you've only got the 20, then that's all you're working with. But let's be honest. Let's say you've only got 5, but you've got 3 friends that also have 5. That working together enables you to pick up 1 copy and you share it. Okay, and the reality of it is, so I was asked one day, well, if you've got all this information, why don't you give it for free? I like keeping a roof over my head personally. But prosperity boils down to what you feel it is, not what I feel it is. Now this, what I'm doing is just pulling out loose cash I've got and getting it popped into the other end. Because like I said, procrastination will not get you very far. Okay. And this is why I say, oh yeah, for those of you that are in the States, this is an interesting little thing. Okay, I don't have one of each denomination. But I've seen your guys' money. It's all green. Okay. In my case, we got $5 bills, which are blue. The 10s are purple. The 20s are green. And the 50s are pink. And then you got your 100s, which are brown. I don't know about anything bigger, but then I've never had anything bigger. That's not true. I used to have a $1,000 bill. But it's not a question of whether the money is a different color. It's a question of whether it's of any value. Now, take a look in the mirror. Are you content? First and foremost, do you have the income high enough to actually afford to live? That's the first thing we look at, because that's where we got to start moving things. Well, Joseph, it's almost worth that much. Joseph just going, he's just going, it's monopoly money. Yeah, well, on the flip side of that, we can tell what it is at a blink. We don't have to go looking at the numbers, which is good because some of us can't read. The neat part about it is the happier you are, the more fulfilled you feel, the better you're going to treat the people you come around. And that is where prosperity becomes a contagion. And I'm personally of the perspective that let's start a pandemic. Let's start, helping other people feel happy about their own lives. And for those that are having trouble with that, let's start pointing out the obvious, or the sometimes not so obvious. The neat part about it from my end is this: prosperity is a mindset. If you think you're going to struggle for the rest of your life, if you're one of these people that goes and sits and listens to somebody say, hey, the world is in a disaster, we're heading for financial collapse, we're heading for a massive shortage of food. If you're listening to these people, you're inviting that in. Okay, this is where karmic law, energy out, energy in comes. Okay, focus on the things that you can change. Okay, focus on controlling your own energy flow, your own cash flow. Very important. Okay, I will tell you this. When I look at what some people and some charities are saying, give us your money, we're running a charity. Let me ask you this. Now, I flat out refuse to donate to a registered charity. And here's why. They talk about give us your extra money because we've got a charity and we're trying to help this group of people. If that is the case, why? And do your own research. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, why? If they're running a charity, is the money to run that charity coming out of your donations? Okay, the best one I ever ran across, when it took 30%, 30 cents on every dollar went to the charity. Now, I am in the process of laying out the foundation to create a charity myself. But understand, when I create that, and I'll let you know when it happens, when I do open that door, that charity will be 100% funded by my company. Any money that gets donated will go straight back out to the community. Yes, I know that's a weird concept. Charity that gives back to the community before making themselves wealthy. I can't see how that was how that's been overlooked, but what the heck. Now, this is why when I look at places like the SPCA, okay, and I don't know who the other one is, but the International Pet Association, to take care of animals. Okay, those two, I do donate food to. I will not donate money for exactly the same reason. But at least I know the food will go where it needs to. When I get back from my holiday here in Reno, that is one of the things on my list to start making happen. I don't have a lot of money, but every little bit will help. But the happier you are, the better the energy in your house is running, the better off you are. And the more readily you're going to interact with the society around you. Joseph is just going, no banks. Like what happened in Turkey proved to be a bad place to put your money. Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to Rome. Okay, there was a gladiatorial revolt. What most people don't realize, and again, check your facts. Don't just take my word for it. Okay. But my memory says that at the same time that the revolt was going on, the banks that had funded all the gladiatorial arenas, they pulled their support. Okay. The banks pulled all their money out and accelerated the collapse of the Roman Empire. People are doing this already. Okay. And again, don't take my word for it. Society itself has a lot of potential. I came back to ensure that I could give you as much warning and as much direction as possible to make that happen. Okay. Now, Nathan. Nathan is just suggesting I bring some books with me to sell. I will be. I won't be bringing a lot of them, but there's a reason for that. They are heavy. I mean, let's face it. Here's the neat thing. Okay. Here's the birth of the wolf pack. I can only bring so much. Okay. Where are we here? Yeah, so I will be bringing a few of those. If, however, now if you look at the posting, okay, this book is $40 in your hand. But here's the thing: if I have to mail it, okay, it's $65 because I cannot afford the shipping. So sad to say, I pass it on. However, if you are actually interested in one of these and you're coming to Reno, absolutely let me know and I will bring one down with you. It's only going to cost you the $40. I'll bring it down, have a list of the people that have sent for it. Okay. Yeah, now I will be bringing that one down. Any of the books that I've got, if you look at if you go to rkeithandrews.com or you go to the link at the top of the page that says buy me a coffee, that will tell you the price with shipping, but it'll tell you what the shipping is. So if you're coming to Reno and you know you desire a book, you can get it without the shipping cost because I'll bring it down with me. Okay. And thereby, you'll be able to get it at that level. So what we've got available, if you go to buy me a coffee, you'll see it anyway. But that's the birth of the wolf pack. The sequel is already in print, which is the end of an epoch. Then we've got believe in yourself and follow your dreams, believe in your business and follow your dreams, and believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Okay, these are 20 in your hand with shipping, 10 in your hand if I'm bringing them with me for you. This neat little thing, okay, this neat little one is Races of the World. And now I'm pulling a blank. But that being said, believe that, yeah, that's right. That's 40 in your hand if I'm shipping it. If you're coming to Reno and you know you'd like one, let me know. Okay, I'll bring it with me. I've got them in stock, but then you get them for a whopping 30. Or for a measly 30 or whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, we've got the two children's books. Mr. Dreamcatcher and Mr. Dreamcatcher Returns. All of these are in stock right now. That's pretty much where that ends. But here's the neat little kicker for it. When we talk about prosperity, you've got to see in your own mind that you're advancing. Now, where are we here? Oh, nice. Way to go, Joe. Now remember, no chasing ghosts in the graveyard. Although that can be fun. But it's time to start looking in the mirror and go, okay, I am now on the upswing. Like, my money went really tight. But already have it in my hand. Yeah, okay, I've already laid things out. I know I'm heading for the stars. You're welcome to join me. Absolutely, but the only thing I ask is that you quit buying into this idea that it's somebody else's fault. Okay, absolutely, the people in power have created complications. Absolutely, they have. But you have the ability to modify that for yourself. And I better not do that because that's going to cause a problem. Okay, prosperity boils down to when you look in the mirror, when you look at your house, are you content with what you're seeing? Did I put this where it belongs? I've got a good memory. Yep. Are you content with what you're seeing in your life? If you are, this is fantastic. If not, absolutely up in that link, in that buy me a coffee link, up there you will find my the charge for consulting. I work one-on-one, personal or business. It boils down to going, okay, how much room do I require? Okay. And one of the things that I'm looking at is something that I will be talking to. I'm hoping I'm going to be talking to Storm or Storm or LA tonight. Okay, one way or the other, because I've got to take a look at the artwork and see what we can organize without breaking my budget. Because right now it's a question of doing a lot of planning. They likely will, Joseph, but the reality is, I will tell you this. We had back in 2020 up here, we called it the Great Toilet Paper Shortage. Okay, because I kid you not, people were yanking toilet paper off the shelves. They were emptying them faster than food. And I don't know about you, but I personally don't need that much fiber in my diet. Okay, were we cautious about it? Did we make sure we had a little bit of a backload? Certainly. But in real life, I strongly recommend ignore any shortages. Recommend that you look at your backup. Look at your pantry. Keep at least 3 months food. 3 months non-perishable food in your storage. Okay, in backup. That way, if there is a problem, you're not left starving on the street. Joseph. Yeah, well, that's just it. The funny part about it is we can look at, and I'm not going down that road too terribly far. We could certainly look at what happens if thing goes to heck in a handbasket. I keep telling people, if you know a war is coming, give somebody my address. Drop a bomb on my flaming house. Yes, there's going to be collateral damage. Other people will be inconvenienced. I don't feel like picking up the mess again. Okay, I really don't. But that said, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm not closing my eyes and going, oh, we're all going to die. We're all going to go to hell. I go to hell every chance I get. They've got some wonderful people down there. Okay. And they're really not all as bad-tempered as you've been led to believe. The funny part about it is this. Whether you believe you're going into a real stressful period or you believe you're not, either way, you're literally stacking the deck in favor of that occurring. Now, am I aware of financial struggles? Absolutely. But because I am aware of them, I am making the absolute effort to bring things back online. Now, I've already started, so I've already started working on writing projects because I know I'm going to run into troubles if I don't stay on top of it. Prosperity boils down to, have you got more money, more supply coming into your life than what you have, than what you require to go out? If you do, even if it is only $1 more, you're in a position where the tools that I happen to hang on to can be used to start growing your bank account. It will be slow to start with. Okay, the odds of you actually getting a sudden windfall that makes a significant difference to your lifestyle are not good. Okay, so many people play the lottery. I'm going to play the lottery. I'm going to win $1 million. $1 million doesn't buy you much nowadays. And besides that, how many people do you personally know that, and I'm not looking for numbers. I just desire you to consider. How many people do you personally know that play the lottery? And of those, how many people have won a significant amount? Okay, that's the thing you have to look at. We keep hearing that it's all back east, it's in the bigger centers. Well, of course it is. There's more people there. Okay, so with this in mind, start planning for your own success now. Okay, now here's the formula that's very necessary for you. Okay, here is literally the key to success. This is the formula I personally work with. Okay, success equals belief plus focused effort. You have to believe you can be successful, and you've got to get focused on that prosperity level. Now, that's the formula. It's not complicated. And you'll notice I didn't leave it to the end of the show. I'm going to give you another one. Okay, not in 10 minutes. We're going to pop it to you right now. If you don't have a piece of paper handy, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to grab one. Now, maybe you don't have a piece of paper handy. Maybe all you've got is a cell phone. A cell phone every cell phone I've seen almost has a notepad option on it. Open it up, and here's the 4-part formula for success. Okay, first, you've got to have a purpose. Okay, and that's a purpose, not a porpoise. If you've got a purpose, you might want to talk to the zoo to find out how to feed it properly. But the first thing you require is a purpose. Why are you aiming at becoming successful? Now, for me, it's simple. Okay, it's apparently lonely at the top. So, purpose number 1, cover all my bills so I can live comfortably. Purpose number 2, show you guys how to make money work properly so that you can experience the finer things in life. According to you, not according to what I call the finer things. Okay, I mean, I'm this, bordering on being absolutely bizarre. Can't picture that. I will tell you, in my eyes, my other half is a knockout. I personally wouldn't mind if everybody else looked at her and went, oh, I don't like the way she looks. Because then I don't have to worry about the competition. Yeah, I know I'm selfish. I don't share well. But the first thing that you've got to have to attain that prosperity, that success, why are you doing it? What is your purpose in becoming prosperous? Okay. Second one, you gotta have a plan. Okay. And the plan has to be internally consistent. if you don't know how to make a plan, there are lots of people, lots of books that'll tell you how. Okay. Or simply drop me a line. And again, if you've got questions, absolutely everything I do on the live stream here on Positive Perceptions is free. Everything I put in the newsletter is free. Okay. And for me personally, and again, it's in the Buy Me a Coffee link, I only charge $20 Canadian for 15 minutes of my time. Now, bear in mind, I've got well over 30 years experience. Matter of fact, I've got 37 years experience professionally of experience on a social level. Okay. Now, with that in mind, if you know how to make a plan, this is fantastic. Make it happen. Okay. And yes, I'm literally putting these, matter of fact, that reminds me. Where are we? That's why I got this neat little pad here. Now, here's the neat thing. This information will be contained in a book. Okay. When it goes to market, I'll let you know. Prior to that, I will still be working on articles that you'll be able to look at. Okay, that you'll be able to read. Okay. The neat part is when I put them in the newsletter, they're free anyway. But I'm going to put them all into a book and then sell the book. And yes, at that point, I will be charging for it. The newsletter, I won't be, ever. Okay. So you got to have a plan in place. Once you've got a plan, okay, now comes the hard part. You have to be persistent. Set the plan up, figure out what steps you have to follow in your eyes, not in mine. Okay, I will absolutely tell you what steps are necessary, but it's up to you to decide if you're going to move, if you're going to change and follow them. Then you've got to have patience. The odds are you did not end up in your current state overnight. The odds are you built up to it. You know, in my case, I built up to it with absolute creative stupidity. Yes, I've got my fan going because I don't like overheating much. By the way, what I'm reaching for up here is easy. It's called my door and my window. But look at that. Okay, what do we got here? There we go. Just try and keep temperatures down at a reasonable level. Prosperity is a matter of focused effort. You've got to believe it's possible. Then you've got to get off your tail feathers and make it happen. But for pity's sakes, if you're doing so, if this doesn't apply to you, don't take it. But if you're blaming the government for your state, for your situation, or you're blaming a so-called elite, okay, or you're blaming anybody at all other than the one looking in the mirror, absolutely pull back and reassess. You have the ability to change the direction your life is going, but you're going to have to do it. Okay. And yes, the Believe in Your series, I will be bringing some down. Okay. I don't know how many because I'm not taking anything more. Like I am taking only carry-on luggage. You know, that's just the way I travel. But again, if you order, and sad to say, guys, if you really want one, if you really desire one, any one of the books, okay, I've got to have the money in my possession, which means over the internet doable, in order for me to bother packing them up and bringing them down. Okay. Other than that, absolutely, I will ship them out when I get back. Okay. But tomorrow I go down and solidify I do all my check-in and what have you. And then on Wednesday morning, by 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm out the door. But it boils down to this: pick what you see as prosperity. That's where we start. Doesn't matter what skin color you are, doesn't matter what nationality, what your religious belief, it just doesn't matter. And you can chant that all you'd like. It just doesn't matter. Okay, smile when you say that because it really doesn't matter. It's even funnier if you do that in the middle of a restaurant. You know, waiter comes up to you and goes, "Would you like a coffee?" You look at him and you just hold your hand and you go, "It just doesn't matter." You might get a really weird look out of them, but it's likely to liven their day up a little. So pick what you see as prosperity. Do you feel prosperity means you got a brand new wardrobe or maybe a brand spanking new car? I will warn you, most of what people show out there as a mark of prosperity, most of them are up to their eyeballs in debt. That's just the reality behind life. Now, what am I looking at here? There we are. I just refreshed my screen. Yeah. And there he goes. The cops will be amused by that for sure. I'm telling you, I went, I went, okay, we'll try English in this case. It's a weird concept. But when I look at the world, okay, I'm going, okay, people have been taught to fear change. You've been taught to fear wealth. You've been taught to fear everybody. It's time we turn that around. Prosperity is not a sin, and money itself is not the root of all evil. But I will tell you this: money does facilitate a staggering amount of jealousy because most people figure they can't get it on their own accord. Now, in all fairness, the people that are actually teaching you this were taught the same way. Prosperity itself is a mindset. Okay. Now, I've got to run numbers. Okay, before I can give definitives. But this is what I'm planning on doing for tomorrow. Okay. Is I'm going to turn around and go, okay, here's where I'm standing. Here's what I'm doing. We're going to look at the creative side of prosperity. How do you make the world they say the world is your oyster. Well, I'm telling you, if that's the case, I'm done playing games. Okay. And I'm going to start making it grow. My bank, that is. One of the biggest things we have to look at is prosperity is not just a human concern. It is the same thing for many other races. They just don't necessarily use money. Now, I forget which nationality it was, but way, way, way back, okay, there was a race that the coin was 6 feet in diameter. Now, personally, I think this is a bit cumbersome. Okay, but when you look in the mirror, are you content with what you're looking at? That's the first thing you gotta decide. Is that really what I think it is? That's weird. Optically, this looked like it was two different shows for some weird reason. But that's okay. When we look at prosperity, okay, it's time to look in the mirror and go, what does that mean? Do you have a surplus income? As in, do you have enough either goodwill amongst your neighbors where you can swap things over? You've got a spare coat you don't require. They've got an apple pie. Swap them over. No money changes. Nobody gets taxed for anything. Okay, no matter what country you're in. Because it's a question of the value to you of whatever the item is. Okay, the idea of bartering back and forth. Money simply gives you that option. Okay, workload, by the way, works the same way. Somebody tells you the price they're aiming for or that they desire. You look at the price and go, yes, I'm willing to pay for it, or no, I'm not. Joseph, you are absolutely 100% correct. Joseph's going, has said, taking responsibility for your own actions is crucial for shaping your future. Okay. And absolutely it is. Thing we have to remember is today, tomorrow, and yesterday are all the same time. But when prosperity happens, the only place it changes ever is right here, right now. And that is solely up to you and your efforts. Okay. Yes, you've got to make the connections to have things happen. But you're the one that's got to make the effort for it. The one thing, and this is why during the week I'm away, I'm going to be laying out a whole pile of different programs, different topics, and I'm bound and determined. I'm going to come back with everything laid out in a much more solid fashion. Now, that said, I'm not taking my computer with me. Okay. And since my cell phone is not set up to check email, I won't be doing that for a week. But if you got ideas as to what would make either Positive Perspectives, the magazine, or Positive Perceptions, this live stream, more enjoyable, more current, more useful. Okay. If you've got an idea, I would love you to drop me a line because this is the time that we have to change this world. If we continue doing what we've continued to do, what we've been doing, we will continue getting what we've been getting. Okay. And it won't have anything to do with the politicians, the different nationalities. It will not have anything to do with them. It'll have to do with your efforts as to whether your life changes. Now, let me ask you this, guys, because I know there's a number of you that sit in a room on really uncomfortable benches, listening to somebody tell you the world is ending, we're all going to die. Let me ask you this. Do you believe that we are all going to die? Okay. Or do you believe there is nothing we can do about it? Because, it's all preordained. I'm telling you, we're going to, I could talk about whether something is preordained until the cows come home. But I will tell you, I don't buy it. Okay. The layout, absolutely. You go to a city. The layout of the city is already in place. It is already set there. Your own abilities are already in place. Problem is you may not realize it. Okay. Because most of you have been taught by the time you're about 5, maybe 6 years old in the extreme outside, usually by the time you're 4, you've been taught that you're not going to get ahead in this world. You're going to have to struggle. The government calls all the shots. The major media, the major moguls handle all the finances. I'm telling you, if that were the case, then would it make any sense for them not to release the information? Okay, unless they are striving to live high on the hog and treat other people like garbage. This is the thing we have to start looking at. Now, am I going to open up a church and go, hey, I'm going to go stand in front of a bunch of people and go, you gotta pay attention or you're going to hell? I'm not doing that. I will tell you, if you go to hell, say hi to the doorman. Wonderful chap. Easy to confuse. He won't understand what you're doing. There we go. Woo's just letting us know. I went from 107,000 in my bank account to 3,500 from being a good person with helping some people. Some would have off themselves. It just made me realize to look out for family first and foremost. Absolutely. I did, when I say I did something similar, I ended up with $100,000 inheritance. And I cooked the thing because I didn't pay attention. Okay, I'm no financial wizard, but I am not making that mistake again. This is literally a case of I'm heading on a holiday. I'm going to enjoy it. When I get back, I'll get back to work. Okay, now that said, like I told somebody one day years ago when the first Lotto 649 came out for $16 million, one of my coworkers looks at me and goes, 16 million is way too much for one person to win. I looked at her and said, I'll tell you what, you ever win that kind of money, keep what you feel is reasonable. I'll give you my bank account. I'll take the rest of it. I have never turned down money that has been offered, and I will continue to accept it. I also, on the other hand, am not about to turn on people. Too much effort. Prosperity boils down to this. Now, in your eyes, what would make you feel within the next couple of days, maybe today, but what would make you feel like you're prospering? Okay, would it be a new vehicle? Would it be a new house? Maybe it's a new wardrobe. Okay, or maybe you're like me and you go, I go out for dinner, I feel great. I'm just feeling this little off kilter on me. And I'm going like, no. By the way, I did find out what threw me off loop just a couple of days ago. I put too much food in my system argued. Okay. So now what's happening is I'm being very cognizant of what I'm up to. The neat thing about it is we have the capacity to literally turn this whole broadcast, this whole podcast, whatever you want to call it, into a massively going concern. Okay. Now, whether I'm talking to, right now we've got 7. Whether I'm talking to 70 of you in the chat room or 7 million doesn't make any difference. I still have to put the same effort in. Okay. And I still have to be true to myself while I'm doing it. That's the reality of it. Not a fan of that. So, when we look at this, in your eyes, what do you see as being prosperous? What would make you feel like, yeah, I finally got my head above water and now I can generate it? Now I can keep swimming. Let me ask you this. Were you the cause of the problem? Okay. Or was it simply true ignorance? As in, you didn't realize what you were doing. Okay. The thing that I will tell you is right off the bat. Again, and yeah, I know I bring this out regularly. It's because it works. I am worth it. Four most powerful words in any language I've ever come across. Okay. So, of course, the other thing I am going to be doing with Trip to Reno is I am going to make sure I get pictures. Okay. Because let's face it, I don't know about you, but I haven't left the house I haven't left the area since lockdown happened. Joe, I absolutely agree with you. Joe Stewart is just going Catholic Church or not. As long as you try your best, you do have a chance of going to heaven. That's just my 2 cents worth. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The funny part about it is, Joe, you're right on the money. You have a chance of going to heaven. You've got a chance of going to hell. You can go lay in a pine box. You can go and get dug into a deep hole in the ground, and you can let the worms crawl in and the worms crawl out, and the ants play piccolo on your snout. I mean, it ought to be an interesting setup. Okay, but you can have all of it, or you can interchange. I want to sit on a fluffy white cloud and play chess for the next 20 years. I'm finished playing chess. I'm going to the hot tubs in hell. Okay, these are options. Now, in all fairness, you're not likely to remember this when I get done here, and you certainly won't remember it when you get to the other side. Okay, what we have to realize is whether you're on Earth, in the inner Earth, or on the outer world. Okay, doesn't matter where you are. You're still on Earth. There is no, in my opinion, there is no such thing as a third world country. Well, that's not entirely correct. A third world country is literally a group of people colonize an area or set up camp in an area, and they turn around and start saying, okay, we're laying the laws. But it's absolutely imperative, if you've got rules you desire others to take, absolutely follow through with them. Okay. It is one of those things that is very critical to ensure you land on your feet. Now, of course, I'm looking for my book and I cannot find the thing. Pop these back up where they belong. See, the nice part about all of that is that once you figure out that you actually have control over your own future, you will absolutely, I'm certain of it, find that you have a lot of options. Okay, it's just a question of which ones you're going to implement. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you would think you would like to see what life is like at the top of the totem pole. Okay, where you've got the finances to live your life your way. If you desire to take a holiday, you hop on a plane and you go, or hop on a helicopter and go. But how many of you think that would be enjoyable? Because I'm going to cover the downside of that as well in a second. You know, the neat part about it is, in my opinion, the only difference between myself, the only functional difference between myself and my empire is that the people that built the Toronto Star and the ones that built whatever major newspaper you know of in your area, whoever these people were, the only difference between them and me is they started earlier. Okay, but there is nothing telling me that I cannot become as successful, if not more so, than the next guy. I just have to stay focused on what I know works. Okay, now, just a curiosity, I'm just going to restate it. But how many of you would like the chance to sit on top of the totem pole and look down on what everybody else is doing without judgment? Okay, that's what we bring to the table. Is I am not about to tell you what is wrong with you. Okay, I will tell you the way things are going with this world, there's a lot of work that has to be done. A lot of work. But it's up to you and the people around you to get up off your own tail feathers and make it happen. I love the fact my eyesight is all screwed up, but then it's been a rough couple of days. Now, I was telling Storm in LA this. Okay, I made a miscalculation. This is why I'm going into overdrive with it. This book doesn't have 59 races. It's got 60. I forgot to take into consideration that humans are in here as well. But here's the kicker to it. A little bit of an update. Book 2 now has 60 races. 60 different races. Book 3, I just added the first one too. This is going to be, to say the least, an ongoing project. But now that I've got my head on straight, at least in my eyes, I will be pushing to rack them off. Now with 60 races, let's just do a real quick calculation. Well, heck, that was easy. I come back, I'll be back here in the office on the 15th of May. So if I do 15th of May and we count 4 months, and this is just a commitment to me. Okay. If I get one every 2 days, because I'm not going to get to it every day, I know this. If I get one, I've got 60 races in Races of the World. If I do one every 2 days, that makes 120 days, which means we are in May, 120, which is 4 months down the road, means before school starts. Okay, is the target date at this point. I said I'm not going to make that happen. I'm not going to pick that direction. I got thinking about it, and went, no, it's time to really lock down and go, okay, I know this system will work. And if I give myself a little bit of leeway, okay, if I did that, if I do it every 2 days, that would be the end of, that'd be the middle of September. Okay, if I do it one every 3, then we're going in 180, and that puts it November. So anyway I look at it, there is no functional reason why, if I quit putting things off and going, oh, I've got this little thing I'd like to go and take a look at, I've got to approach this from the standpoint of, here's the book I'm writing, here's the article that's got to be written, time to make it happen. Okay, now, I'm going to throw another little point, another little option out there. Okay. And like I said, prosperity is a mindset. Now, I have not had a lot of luck with marketing pros, with marketing ads, that sort of thing. Okay. But I will tell you this. If what I am looking for on top of the artist and story, yes, I'm going to talk to you guys about that after the show today. Okay. Today is Monday. So yeah, I should be talking to you after the show today. Okay. Getting an idea of what we're looking at, what options are available. I've got a couple of other artists. I am now literally actively looking. Okay. I am actively looking for artists, marketing people, as in people that have an idea on how to market. But here's the kicker. I literally have worked out a way of paying for it by way of result. Okay. That's the simple fact of the matter about it. So I will not be going, okay, I'm going to hire you. I'll give you $50 to come up with an ad. Not going to happen. Okay. Not going to happen. And let's take that argument of, but that's the way it's done. Don't care. Not doing it that way. Okay. But I will tell you that the way I've laid it out, and I've laid it out on paper, not just in my head, the way I've laid it out, it will work. I'm no longer interested in settling for second best. If I desired second best, I wouldn't have picked out of 8 billion people on the planet. I would have not picked one specific one and go, that's the one I desire to marry. If I was not interested in the best of the best, I wouldn't have gone there. But if you think you can make a go of it, or if you are interested in any other options, absolutely talk to me. The fact of the matter is, I'm no longer content to sit and twiddle my thumbs and hope things turn over. Nor am I willing to turn to the major moguls. I'm going to create my own major financial moguls. Those are the ones I'm targeting. And who knows? Maybe you're one of the people that can make this happen. Okay. The hard part is believing it's possible. As in, I've got an idea of what may work. Why would he hire me? Why would he pay me? It doesn't matter. My reasons are literally my own. Okay. So am I open to input? Am I open to giving people a shot? You bet I am. That is because every single person out there is of equal value. You don't necessarily have the same bank account. But if you guys want to get together, absolutely. Find out what your bank balances are. Okay. Talk to each other, and any money you feel you've got that is too much, absolutely send it to me. I am not burdened with that problem. And we are rapidly running out of water, in case you hadn't noticed. Contrary to popular belief, though, well, very isolated belief, we're also not running out of gravity. Okay, now let me ask you this. In your eyes, what would you feel is a prime marker for your prosperity? Okay. What is the thing that makes you feel like you can get up in the morning without feeling drugged down? Okay. That would be the thing we have to start looking at. And this is the same message I'm bringing down to Reno. Okay. I am a simple individual. I am not a farmer. Okay. But on the flip side of that, I have a very definitive outlook on life that says, this is what you're capable of. Now, time for you to get off your tail feathers and make that a reality. Not impressed with the fact that my eyes are tracking slow. See, the thing is, when we look at the way people claim to be doing things, ask yourself this. Any one of the churches, temples, synagogues, whatever, are any one of them that you're aware of actively striving to help the poor? Are they striving to feed the poor? These are the questions you've got to start asking. If they're claiming that's what they're doing, double check, make sure they are, before you hand another nickel to them. Okay? And again, your word has got to be your bond. Now, I will tell you, I literally mean this. Okay? If you're trying to do something and you're relying on property as in a vehicle, a change in weather, you may not have a lot of control. You've got the ability to decide what's going to happen, or more to the point, to decide how you're going to handle it. The nice part about it, when we take a look at this world, is there is so much prosperity, there is so much potentiality here. All we have to do is reach out and pull it down. It's yours for the taking. Now, with that in mind, this is mine for the taking. I'm going to get more water. So I will be right back. And we are back. Now, at least we can safely say that I'm not drinking too little water. But it boils down to this. No matter what species you are, no matter what race you are, how you treat others is what is going to come back and bite you in the backside. Okay? You must follow karmic law. Be true to yourself first. To that end, I'm building an empire. I'm inviting every one of you to join me on that journey. And any support I get, I've already got a formula worked out. Okay, some of you will tell me, oh, I'm doing it just because I like it, which is great. This is a fantastic thing. I'm not going to turn it down. I just happen to have my own guidelines I'm working with. Now, second karmic law, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Whether or not I ever make it big in the world does not make me any better than you, any worse than you, doesn't make you better or worse than me. In my eyes, and I've heard a lot of the conflicting info. In my eyes, I'm nothing special. I am just me. I happen to see the world in a different way. Okay. And that in and of itself undoubtedly makes things look a little odd. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, it's funny. I thought that hiding from the world was the right move. I will wake up. Guess what? That didn't happen. So now I'm stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight and going, okay, time to dust ourselves off, get up and make this be. Okay. But it's going to take the effort of all of you. Okay. But I'm not talking about you going out and, we need a new power plant. So how about if you go out and build a new power plant? I'm talking about each and every one of you looking in the mirror and going, I am worth it. And then start adjusting your life path so that everything that you do points towards that reality, that eventuality. Because once you get that set here and here, the world is in the palm of your hands. Okay. I'm putting back up there. This is the time for us to step out of the shadows. This is the time for you to stand up, really, give yourself a good stretch and go, okay, I'm changing my life now. Not because somebody else said I could, but because I desired to make it happen. Okay. Now, when I come down, it's neat. I'm coming down to Reno in 2 days. Okay. But where is it? Of course I can't find what I'm looking for. There it is. May 22nd, I believe. I am just checking something here that I kind of have to. There we are. Yep. Just want to make sure I wrote that down. See, I'm coming, like I said, I do consulting. Well, I've got a client. I come back from my holiday. I've already got a client lined up for a reading as soon as I get back. Now, where are we here? Right there. So yes, I'm literally taking the time out while I'm on air here to do exactly what I keep telling people. Okay. And that is, take a look at the schedule that I've got. That is, there we are. So, what time? Okay. And now I have that marked in. The nice part about this whole thing is when you start looking. Oh, Christine, thank you so much. Well, good health I'm working on. The nice part about it is my stress level way up? Certainly. Comes from a lot of practice of getting lost. But that said, I decided I'm going to start making things happen. So this client is just the first of many. And I'm just kicking the doors open and going, okay, if you're aiming at changing your life and you don't know how to make it happen, number one, you're going to watch all kinds of transformation happen here. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you can't do it. I will tell you if you physically are missing a limb, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot with the limb on that side. It's just not going to happen. But that doesn't mean you can't do what you're aiming for. Okay. I've seen people with no arms paint masterpieces. I've seen people with no legs play basketball like there was no tomorrow. The best baseball team I ever watched was a team called the King in His Court. Every one of the people on the team they only had one arm. Okay. And they played in exhibition games against the professional team. If you desire to make your life change, to me, it's not a question of what that change is. To me, it's a question of, do you have the desire? We can certainly help you find a way to do it. This said, if you've got a goal that you would like to attain, absolutely drop me a letter. Drop me a note. Let me know in the chat room what it is you're working on, and we will set the stage to open the door so you can make it happen. Not so I can make it happen. The nice part about it is when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. I do not operate within the confines of the can't mentality. Okay. Because as the one sentence in the one line in the poem that I recited weekly at church, foe that goes can't is a word that is foe to ambition. Okay. I never did remember the rest of the poem. I never have. I've looked it up a few times and probably forgot it. But the poem is called Can't. Now, I don't know if it's been credited to somebody else. All I know is my father, when he told us that one, he told me that the old screen actor Danny Thomas wrote that poem for his daughter, who was fighting for her life with some form of cancer. Okay, I'm telling you, whatever your goal, I can tell you all kinds of examples. Okay, of things that have worked. People have made it big. You take a look at any one of them. You can do the same thing. Not with the same product in all likelihood. The nice part about it is the way I'm seeing this holiday go down. Okay, I'm coming back. I am going to go into the casino, but I've only been in a casino 9 times in my life. 8 of them. Okay, 8 of them. I've come out of the casino with more money than I went in with. Oops, what's this? Oh, now you didn't finish the sentence there, Joseph. But Joseph has said, sent you a copy of what I am worth it. And then it ends with that, so I'm not sure if that was supposed to be is, but I'm guessing that is in my email. Oh, I have every intention on it, Christine, but thank you very much for that. The way I figure it, and here's a neat little tip for you guys. For those, and I think I've already, I told part of the story, part of the plan. I put part of the plan in my last edition of Positive Perspectives. Okay. But here's the other thing. If you're going to a casino, number one, now I don't know about down in the States or anywhere else in the world. Up here, okay, up here, the casinos have a neat thing. If you have a gambling problem, you can voluntarily go to any casino and say, "Look, put me on the restricted list." So that when you do that, up here in Canada, at least in the Clone area, okay, actually I think it's all BC. But if you put yourself voluntarily on the list, the second they realize you're in there, they will escort you out of the casino in any casino in BC. Okay. If you get the treatment, you desire to go back in, it's apparently a 6-month process of getting back into any casino. I don't know if they've got that in the States. I sure hope they do. But I will tell you, okay, the method that I used, that I figured out, I can identify which machines in a casino are likely to pay off faster. Okay. And I'm not going to keep that a secret because really I get nothing out of it. Okay. I'm not in connection in contact with any of the casinos. Okay. But when you walk into a casino, okay, now you already know that the odds are stacked against you. You've got to be aware of that. Okay. It's absolutely imperative that you keep that in mind because when you walk into a casino, there are two positions where machines are now that pay off usually faster. And it's a matter of numbers. The machine right nearest the entrance, or the one right nearest. Actually, there's three: nearest to the entrance, nearest to the bathroom, and nearest to the counting cage. Those ones are the ones people will put a quarter in or a dollar in as they walk by, thereby bringing the count down to a reasonable level. Now, there's no way I can tell you what the numbers are. Okay. And no, before anybody goes there, I do not have that kind of control. Okay. I don't make them do what I desire them to do. I give the poor things heart attacks. So all in all, we are looking at some pretty severe changes to the way this world is going. But it is up to us as individuals to make this happen. Not to turn around and say, "Oh, the government is shafting us. They keep raising taxes. They're doing everything wrong." That isn't helping, in case you hadn't noticed, it's kind of falling on deaf ears. Now, the nice little catch to all of this is once you see yourself as already being prosperous, okay, the people you deal with, you're going to see in a different light. I'm absolutely certain of it. Because realistically, there's no difference between them and you either. They have just as much potential to become extremely successful as you do. Okay, that's just the reality, the way I see it. Okay, and absolutely, if you agree with me, stand by. We are going to be made. We are going to make these changes happen, but you're going to bear witness to them first in my life. Okay, I won't be able to give specifics on where we're starting until what'll it be? Clear that out of the way. Yeah, I take on tomorrow will be my last show, and then I won't be back on until the 17th of May. Okay, At which point, I will have numbers for you regarding where I'm actually standing to give you concrete evidence. This is what I'm looking at. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that parents across the board seem to make is not discussing finances with their children. You know, when I was growing up, the idea was don't tell your kids what you're going through financially. They don't need the stress. Well, that was a cute thought, but I never learned how to deal with the finances because I never saw the actual impact until now. Okay, now I know what I did wrong, but it took me 60 years of trial and error. Now, let me ask you guys, would you like to go through another 60 years yourself trying to figure it out? Or would you rather find out the keys so you can bypass that kind of drag? Okay, absolutely. If you don't want to know about the way money works, tell me to keep, to climb up and keep it myself. Okay, absolutely. If you desire me to distract you by going, hey, look at all the pretty lights in the sky. Here's some new races that you're not aware of. And here's the issues around them. I can do that. What I'm asking you is, are you at this point? I'm still going to be, as far as I know, I'm still going to be on Spaced Out Radio the first Friday of every month. Okay. I'm still going to be working on the books and getting them into print. And I will still be answering any questions. But if there is something you don't desire to hear about, or you figure I'm a complete flake because, well, how can you talk about being prosperous when you yourself are barely above the poverty line? Tell you how I do that. 1, English major. I learned how to do it. Okay. 2, been there, done that. I've learned from the school of hard knocks how to make absolutely stupid choices. Now, I can tell you which ones I made. Okay. And the hope is that you'll listen to these and go, gee, that didn't work out that well for you. I guess I'm not going to do that. Thank you, LA. I appreciate that. Joseph, I will absolutely take a look at them. Won't be taking a look at them until after I get done the stream, but because now what's going to happen, I've got this great big vision, way bigger than I thought possible. I went through life going, I don't want anything to do with people, just leave me alone. I don't relate to you. I can tell you where you're heading, but I don't relate to what you're going through. Now I'm sitting here going, I still don't relate to what you're going through, but it's time to step out of the shadows and go, here's your options. Yeah, Joseph is just going, kings and queens did not live as well as the poor of today. No, they didn't. And on the flip side of that, prisons were not, in my opinion, they were not spas. When you broke a law, you were not treated well. Okay. I don't know, but maybe, just maybe, things were a little backwards here. Last time I spoke to somebody in England, we were talking about the cost of groceries. In Canada, it costs a small fortune to buy vegetables. It costs you pocket change to buy candy bars. Okay. And people go, well, why are so many Canadians overweight? Well, it's because candy bars hold more calories, way more calories than what a bowl of soup does. Okay. Now, that said, last I heard, over in the British Isles, over in England, specifically London, it costs pennies to buy a head of cabbage. It costs like $5 $5 to buy a chocolate bar. Now, I got no problem with that, with either one of them. Okay. The reality is we have to start taking responsibility for our own choices, regardless of what is being broadcast. Okay, regardless of what is on the news. I will sit here and tell you wholeheartedly, okay, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, this is not the only book. Okay, that's Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams. This is not the only book that tells you how to do that. Okay, it just happens to be the only one I've personally written. Same as Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams is not the only self-help book out there. Okay, but that said, okay, one thing we have to remember is when you find something that works for you, when you find an appearance that works for you, it is critical you go after that. Do not put the weight into, oh, but what if they don't like what I'm wearing? Well, it's pretty simple. You don't like what I'm wearing, that's no problem. I can get over it. Close your eyes, you won't see it. Okay. The reality of it is that we have a massive job ahead of us. Now, where are we here? Oh, that's up here. And we are slowly growing in numbers, by the way, guys. Okay. We are currently at 617. So it's just very small steps. But you remember the story about the tortoise, and the hare. Okay. Keep that in mind. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. I've already run around like a chicken with my head cut off for decades. Now it's time to change it. And this is why, yes, I have to leave the house tomorrow to go and get checked in for the flight. But I don't have to do what I've been doing and go to the restaurant. I don't have to do that. That's my choice. Okay. It is your choice. Are you content with the way your world is working? Are you happy with your balance in the bank account? Yes, Christine, it is. It's slow. It is steady. And I just refreshed. We got 10 thumbs up. Absolutely appreciate that. It's not, in all fairness, for me anymore. Do I desire to make things happen? Yes. Absolutely, I do. When I get to the point, I will monetize this site. When it gets to that point. I don't know when that's going to happen. The money has become a literal side effect of what I'm doing. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. For all of you out there, I will do it this way. For all y'all, I don't know what language that came from, but that being said, for all of you out there, how many of you know of any company that pays word of mouth advertising? Okay. I know everybody knows you got to pay advertising, but nobody that I know of, well, that's not entirely correct, but do any of you know of anybody of any company, no matter how big or how small, pays a advertising fee for word of mouth advertising? Okay, this is one of those things that it's always confused me. Okay, but it is time for us as a community, this little microcosm of a chat room. This is a microcosm of the world at large, of the universe at large. Okay, how you treat other people, how you treat other species. Okay, is that the way you personally desire to be treated? If it is, this is fantastic. If it is not, then you might desire to change the way that you're treating people. Okay, I am not perfect. In case you hadn't noticed, my system collapses. I've got temper you would not believe. What we now have to look at, in my eyes, is how do we get focused on one goal? Now, let me ask you this, guys. And this is going to seem really completely backward. Oh, vibing. Absolutely, your health has to be there. Okay. I've made a point now of actually exercising, quite consistently. And get this. Like, this is my best. My office, this is my desk while I'm working during the day. But I have not, until just recently, I have not been able to do a sit-up. Okay. I now can only do 12, but that's 12 more than I could do before. So now, by exercising regularly, I am now starting to be able to do things. Okay. The important factor is set goals for yourself that are attainable. If you do not set ones that are attainable, you are almost certain to disappoint yourself and lose speed. Okay. Now, one of the things we have to realize is that the way this world is working, we've got control over it. Not the major kind of moguls, not the clergy, not the government. We as individuals working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it is up to you to make it happen in your world. I can tell you the point of the steps. Okay. Now, where do we go? Oh, I didn't actually get that done. Okay, we got that one out of the way. Got that out of the way. That out of the way. On this whole list, which is somewhere around 25 items right now, I've only got 4 left to do. Okay, the lift method for me has worked like an absolute charm. Actually, I gotta add one right now. Again, when we're looking at this list, do not forget to put down things like, make sure, like lunch, supper. Make sure they're included, or the odds are you'll forget it. Can't see that, so put that there. All in all, when you take a look at the way your life is, prosperity boils down to a mindset, not a dollar value. Okay, all of this stuff here, I gotta take a look at and decide what I'm keeping hold of, and where I'm moving the rest of it. Most of the stuff I don't have a place for will be disposed of. I just haven't quite figured out how yet. Oh, there you go, vibing. Now, one thing, I gotta ask, vibing. Now, you're over in England, aren't you? Or are you actually going to be in Reno? Because like I said, like I've told all of you, keep wanting to go on. Like I've told all y'all. I don't know where that came from. Don't care. But I will have 4 days whereby sitting down and talking to people one-on-one, face-to-face, I will be open to. The 2 days on either end of my holiday, sorry, they're booked solid. Okay, guys, there's just certain things that have to happen in my world. I haven't figured entirely what all I'm expecting while I'm down there, but I figure as long as I get to Reno, that to me is a mark that I'm actually gaining headway. I'm actually making things happen. Okay, this is a critical factor for me. Thank you very much, Storm. We are down to the 10-minute mark. Now, again, guys, when I come back, because I'll be gone tomorrow we're going to look at the creative side of prosperity. How many different ways can we identify and elaborate on regarding how you can take your skills, combine them with other people's, and turn them into a financial financial boon? Okay, how can we take your imagination in order to encourage it to blossom and become a fuel source for prosperity in your world? And yes, we will be talking about what can be done. I'm building a network. I'm building an active recovery center, but it's starting with a net. Okay, it is starting with a connection via the computer. That's where it starts. That's not where it finishes. I'm putting together a list of different ways of doing it. And just to be clear, because the creative side is intriguing, something I have to make sure of, because tomorrow we're looking at creativity. I'm on my Sunday game of D&D. We've got two of us playing, and we are doing something remarkable that is being translated as we speak into the world, into the workings of the world around me. Okay, and I will explain that tomorrow. But it's on my list of things to do. Again, the list works. Don't take my word for it. If you've got a big project, break it down into just tiny little small things and make it happen. And again, if you are intending on being in Reno, and any one of the books that I've got, if you desire them, okay, and you pay for them ahead of time, I will bring them with me, and you won't have to pay the shipping, because I'm coming down anyway. I will have a few books with me. I just don't know how many. But that's something I've got to. Whoa, that was noisy. So, again, I'm just adding things to the list as I go along. I know once I get done here, I already had supper right before I came on shift. Before I came on here. So, for those of you that concern yourself on that end, rest assured, things are being taken care of there. Now, the important factor from your end is whether you believe you can succeed or you believe you can't. Either way, you're likely to prove yourself correct. This said, if you've got a goal that you would like to see made into a reality, maybe it's a hobby you've got and you just don't know how to get started, absolutely. Ask me in the chat room, ask me on, when I'm on live stream, drop me a line, set up an appointment. I will sit down with you and we'll walk through it. Okay. I'm not the best of the best. I'm just blunt. Okay. That's just the reality of things. Now, one of the important factors from my end, I am not taking my computer with me to Reno. Okay. I'm leaving it behind. I'm taking paper with me to write, but I'm not taking the computer with me. So I certainly won't be on air from the 8th until the 17th. That'd be great, vibing. Oh, there we are. Max, oh, heck, you're only just south of the border. I'm up in BC. The important, but I look forward to seeing you as well, Vibing. Much as I am very reclusive and stay to myself a lot, I do like the concept of getting to know you guys, of getting out and meeting people. It's an odd setup, but it's an evolutionary thing. Anyway, I do have to say so very much for sharing your time with me. The fact of the matter is, if it weren't for you guys and your support, there is no way I would still be doing this. So, thank you so much for that. And I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we're going to take a look at the way gaming has, like the imagination world of Dungeons and Dragons, how that has helped me take the physical world and go, I'm making this happen. It's being replicated in today's physical world. I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.